someone please explain to me how these animals were used for war? I mean, mine only knows how to... It's not even about animal cruelty anymore. It's just about... He just wouldn't survive.
I got tagged in that previous video a number of times here, my friends, and it brings up a very interesting question. How exactly would you train a horse for war? And the answer is it depends on both their breeding as well as the actions that are taken while it is that they are young. I will be blunt with you right now. You can't just take any kind of horse and turn it into a war horse. There are horses that are meant for farming, there are horses that are meant for show, there are horses that are meant for light riding, and then there are horses that are meant specifically for war. There is breeding that goes into that in the first place, and when you have a knight's horse, this is something that in the medieval period you might call like a destrier. These were larger horses that were specifically designed for strength, and on the other hand, you could have much lighter horses called palfreys, and these were riding horses, saddle horses. They were meant as spares, they were meant for hunting, for pleasure rides, these sort of things. But even if you have a horse that was perfectly bred to be a warhorse, it doesn't just become one. You have to train it from a very young age. Typically speaking, around like 18 months or so is when it starts, and from that point, the horse has to be desensitized to the noises of war. Drums, metal clanging, the scent of blood, all these kinds of things. So what they would typically do is things like, they would feed the horses during a time where they're making loud noises and other kinds of things that are the din of battle, and from that, it desensitizes them to the chaos that they would normally then have to deal with. At the same time, these horses could also be trained to step over bodies, to be aggressive, to kick, to bite, to do all kinds of things. And from that, as you can imagine, this is a process that would take years, which means that any horse that has to go through this process has had years upon years upon years worth of training, making it exceptionally expensive and not easy to replace if it just dies. And that is why when you look at an overall knight's wealth, their arms, armor, and other equipment could cost a year's worth of what it is that they make, but the horse itself could cost several years. It is that valuable.